Here you can view 9 layouts that were exhibited at the Greenock Model Railway Show in October 2019. At the Heritage and Model Rail channel, I describe model railway layouts and how they are constructed and operated. If this is your first time to my channel, start now by subscribing and clicking on the bell icon for notifications. Here you can view the 00 gauge layout Kilbowie, exhibited by Brian Thompson from Greenock. The setting for Kilbowie is Clydebank in the glory days of the Singer sewing machine factory. It features the Glasgow Central Low Line in the 1960s, the Forth and Clyde Canal on the boundary, and a low-level suburban electric line. The Singer factory and the famous Singer clock are also included.
That's good, thank you.
The layout measures 13 feet by 7 feet and requires 2 operators. Buildings are all scratch built with an unusual scenic fiddle yard. Track and points are all Pico Code 75. Control is DCC by Lentz with stock from Bachmann and Hornby. The back scene has pictures from Clydebank and the shipyards along the River Clyde. My thanks to Brian for the information. During the show I was trialling a new micro video camera. I mount the camera on a wagon and either push it or pull it around the layout for a driver's eye view. Here are a sample of the clips of the Kilbowie layout. I'm not sure if I want to make this a feature of all my layout videos, so I would welcome your thoughts in the comments below. I think you will agree there is room for improvement. This 00 gauge layout is Coeur d'Alene, exhibited by the Perth Model Railway Group. The Coeur d'Alene Railway is an 0 scale narrow gauge model set in the state of Idaho, USA in the 1930s. It depicts how a line might have been built to serve the Coeur d'Alene Lake area via a depot at the small town of Rockford Bay, incorporating a ferry terminal with tugboat and barge. Although fairly remote, the area has some mining activities and a coal loading facility is included. The scale of the model at 1/4 inch to the foot follows American 0 scale standards, using Pico narrow gauge track. Rolling stock is mostly Bachmann, with some locomotives from other suppliers. Stock has been lettered using bespoke dry transfers. Structures on the layouts are mostly scratch built, often using timber or plywood. A couple use modified kits, whilst the large factory uses design preservation plastic modules. The passenger depot has a ply base, then prototype scale timber planking was added. Details such as doors and windows, chimneys and roof shingles are by Grant Line. Back scenes are by Walthers, and the tugboat is an anonymous, probably Chinese model, which nevertheless fits the requirement. Traffic on the CDA railway is primarily freight, lumber to the sawmill and other log products, hauled by typical logging line geared locomotives such as Shays and Climaxes. Empty coal cars come in, are loaded and then taken out by the larger locos, including a mallet originally from the Uintar Railroad. Freight cars come in and out from the outside world via the ferry, and a limited passenger service is provided. This 00 gauge layout is Jax Hill, exhibited by Michael Johnson. Jax Hill is a micro layout taken from the design book by Carl Arendt. Whilst Michael was recovering from a broken leg, he decided to build a small layout to keep himself occupied. Jax Hill is the result. It is the model of a coal loading plant set in the 1960s to the 1980s. An empty coal wagon is filled up with coal in the coaling plant and shunted into the right-hand building, where it is moved onto the other rail by a traverser. The wagon is shunted into the left-hand building, where it is removed and the coal tipped back into the coaling plant, ready to start all over again. The layout measures 2 feet 10 by 9 inches. All the buildings are scratch built, with modified kit for the coal loader. Track is Pico Code 100 with analogue control. Stock is a mix of Bachmann, Hornby and Dapol. My thanks to Michael for the information. This Engage layout is Kinnel, exhibited by the Kyle Model Railway Club. Kinnel is a small Scottish layout set in a fictitious village with station and siding. There are 3 running lines with a variety of locos running and maybe the odd steam train on a day out. Featuring all things Scottish with Highland cattle, a stag hiding in the bushes and even a funeral taking place at the old kirk. The layout measures 6 feet by 3 feet on one board which can be transported by car. Buildings are all kits. Track is Pico Flexi Track with analogue DC control. Stock is from Graham Farish and Dapol. My thanks to Andy Bell for the information. This N-gauge layout is Lammermuir, exhibited by the Greenock Model Railway Club. Lammermuir is Greenock's N-gauge layout. It is based on the Waverley route as it was in the 1960s and has many features that were typical of the line, including Melrose Station buildings and St Boswell's shed and an overbridge. It also features Heriot signal box and level crossing, the Tweed Viaduct at Galashiels and the north entrance to the Whitrope Tunnel. Historical features include part of Melrose Abbey and buildings from Melrose Town. The layout measures 12 feet by 8 feet across 6 boards. Track is Pico Code 80 with Pico points. Control is analogue DC using Gauge Master. All the buildings are scratch built. My thanks to Ross McClarty for the information. Here you can view the O-gauge layout Loch Dubh, exhibited by Falkirk Model Railway Club. Loch Dubh is a fictitious remote terminus station in the Scottish Highlands. Depicting early 60s pre-beaching, it features Type 1 and Type 2 traction, hauling both freight and passenger traffic. The layout measures 16 feet by 2 feet across 4 boards. Buildings are all scratch built. Track is Pico Code 80 with control by NLE Power Cab. Stock is Bachmann Brassworks, Heljan and MTK. Wagons are all kit built. My thanks to Jim Reed for the information. Here you can view the N-gauge layout Papagei Stadt, exhibited by David Shackle. Papagei Stadt translates to Parrot Town, hence the picture of a parrot and the statue of a parrot in the town. The layout is a double-track mainline with a long siding and features aircraft, because David always wanted an airport in his layout. The town is a fictitious location in Germany near the Austrian border, set in the modern era. The layout measures 6 feet 6 by 3 foot 6 across 2 boards that travel one on top of the other. Buildings are Faller kits. Track is pre-ballasted from Fleischmann. Control is DCC using Fleischmann Multimouse, and stock is Fleischmann and Minitrix. My thanks to David for supplying the information. Here you can view the 00 gauge layout Glendramm Distillery, exhibited by Alan Rosamond of the Coeur Model Railway Club. Glendramm Distillery is a small end-to-end shunting layout based on the old Dornoch line. The distillery is fictitious but is representative of ones in the area. A single platform serves the distillery, with a cassette in the fiddle yard enabling the easy swapping of stock. The layout measures 6 feet 6 by 3 feet, with one scenic and one fiddle yard, making it car transportable. The distillery building is scratch built, with 2 kit built cottages. Track is Pico 75 fine scale with Pico points. Control is analogue with stock by Bachmann and Hornby. My thanks to Alan for the information. This 009 scale layout is Bron Hebog, exhibited by David and Rob Waller. Ronnie Bog is a model of Bethgelert Station on the rebuilt West Highland Railway, depicted around 2009-2010, when the railway was reopened from Riddhu through Bethgelert and through the Aberglaslyn Pass to the south. It is more than just a model of Bethgelert Station and encompasses the first of the famous 1 in 40 S-bends climbing away from the north into the Bethgelert forest, and to the south the layout also features Goat Tunnel and the notorious Bridge to Nowhere, a relic of the ill-fated Porthmadog, Bethgelert and South Snowdon Railway. The finished layout is huge by 009 standards, with trains truly running through the landscape. The station itself with its passing loop is being built to scale, and the platform can accommodate an authentic length rake of 12 carriages behind one of the monster NGG 16s. The layout measures 20 feet by 10 feet across 14 boards and requires 3 operators. All buildings are scratch-built scale representations of rail buildings. Track is Pico with analogue control. Stock is 90% scratch built with some kits. My thanks to Rob and David for the information. Here are some clips from the train micro camera. Two other layouts were featured at the Greenock show, which have been covered in previous videos. The first is Bandford Bridge, which featured in the Coeur show. Click on the link to view that video. The second video is Williamson River, which featured in the Dundee show. Click on the link to view that video. To view more model railway layouts, click on the playlist. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified. See you soon.